Je voudrais faire un petit sondage, si vous le permettez. How many people would like to have just a little more fun in life, just out of curiosity? About half of you, okay. I thought there'd be more than that, Mary Jo. How many would like to have a little more money in their lives? Anybody at all? Oh, that was easy. I got the other half. That's good. How many would like to have a little more love in their lives? Just a little bit more. Guys got two hands up over there. A lot of people say they want more love, they want more enthusiasm, they want more of what the, quote, good life has to offer. And yet, for some reason or other, a lot of people are not willing to make the mental and physical changes necessary to bring about the changes. Now, that's what Webster, in his best-selling book, The Dictionary, called stupid. See? You can't even have change without being willing to make the shift. And the shift I'm talking about is from wanting to having, from thinking about to doing, from dreaming to experiencing. It's simple. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de différence entre vouloir et avoir, penser et agir, rêver et réaliser. Un petit changement et ça suffit. You don't have to go that much further. Be number one, just a little bit of a shift. Point number 3, the ability to treat those who are close to you with the same courteous attention that you would extend to strangers and casual acquaintances. And we got about as close as we are right here, a little closer actually, and I could see the whites of his eyes. So I looked at him and I smiled and I said, "Good morning." And his eyes turned away from me. He picked up his pace double time. He sped on by me. I could feel the breeze as he walked on by, and I said to myself, that's sad. We all live on the same planet. We all eat the same foods. We have the same goals, the same needs, the same aspirations, and yet for some reason or other, we can't look one another in the eyes and smile. Well, the very next day, on the very same street, very same time, the guy had the same t-shirt on. He was about a block away, but I knew it was him because I was downwind. I mean, there was no missing this guy. And we got about the same distance away, and I said to myself, as every single person in this room has at one time or another, I said, okay, Jim, now's the time to take a risk. So he got close enough to me, and I said to myself, do it. I smiled, and I said, good morning. And he stopped, dead in his tracks. Scared the heck out of me. He towered over me. He pointed directly at me, and he said, do I know you? I said, yes, we met yesterday. Trait number 4, the ability to trust others even if the risk seems great. And here's an example of how people teach others how trustworthy they are. Trust and ethics have an interaction, and it's sometimes misconstrued to a degree, but trust and ethics. It's about a man and his son who go to the bank, and the father's going to cash the check. And he says, son, wait here, I'm going to cash this check. He walks into the bank, and the little guy watches him walk up to the teller, and the teller gives him the money. And he counts it. And the father walks close to the door, and he stops before he gets to the door, and he counts the money again. And he gets outside, and the little guy says, what's wrong, Dad? He says, son, we have a problem. The teller has given me $100 more than she should have. We have a real ethical dilemma. Should we or should we not? Tell your mother. Number 5, and then we'll get into the techniques. The ability to do without constant approval and recognition from others. How would you get to know? Right, get to know their friends, right? The people who came to the funeral. By the way, the number of people who will attend your funeral will largely be determined by the weather. So you want to schedule that date very, very carefully. Corporate executives don't hang out with bums. Students on the honor roll don't hang out with school dropouts. Top producers don't hang out with coffee clutchers. We tend to draw into our circle of friends those people who think like we do. I'm pleased as all get out when I draw into my circle of friends those people who think, because most people don't. Ken McFarland, the late great American educator, said if most people said what they were thinking, they'd be speechless. I feel it's more important to be decisive than it is to be right. Now, this is a breach of logic which has existed for leaders throughout history. You know people who are good decision makers who are not necessarily good leaders, but I'll bet you any money you do not know a good leader who is not a good decision maker. Now, let's say you received a telephone call from your very best friend. You've known this person all of your life. You've gone to school with this person, you've shared lunch with this person, you've worked with them, and they called you up and they said, "Gosh, Liz, I've been thinking about you for the last couple of days and I felt compelled to call you. I don't want to borrow any money. I don't want to ask any favors. I just want to let you know that you are a very important person in my life. And you motivate me to do my very best, and I know you always do your very best. You are a compliment to your job. You're an asset to your community." I'm getting to like her already. I don't want to take a lot of your time because I know you're a busy person, but I just want to let you know one thing. Whenever I'm with you, I really feel good about myself, and I'm so pleased I can call you my friend. How would you feel?
Whatever you want.
Let's give her a hand. Oh, by the way.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want you to have that.
Thank you very much.
Please enjoy that.
Thank you.
It's a great book. I read it myself.
Really?
Let's give her another hand. And Mrs. Werfel came over and she picked up one of the children's boxes at my desk and she said, "Children, children, this is not the way to make a paper box." And she threw it on the table. And the poor kid was devastated. His face was red as a beet. You could see the tears welling up in his eyes. And as she was holding my box high in the air, yeah, it was my box all right, I felt like I was out of step with the rest of the class. And I didn't spend but 2 weeks in school after that. I got mumps, whooping cough, measles, bronchitis, strep throat, anything, so I didn't have to go back to school. And I watched all the kids walk on to first grade. And I had to take that paper box over again. I took special reading classes all during elementary school because I was taught that I was a slow reader. I took special reading classes all during high school because I was taught that I was a slow reader. And I bought into it hook, line, and sinker. My 12th grade English teacher told me, and it was very uncomfortable for me when she told me because Polly Jens was standing there by the blackboard with Jack Cuskey and Wally Henderson. I'll remember it to this day. And I had a crush on Polly. Never asked her out. Never asked her out. And Mrs. Ingram, she said to me, she said, "Jim, don't ever attempt college. You'll never make it." I learned 2 things from that example. One was never to allow anyone to tell you what you can't have. And number 2, whenever you are self-assured, you never attract an adverse opinion. Whenever you feel right inside, you don't pull out garbage from other people. And whenever you know who you are, you don't create static in the world around you. Do you know why? Because it's a law, and there's not that much allowance for ignorance. We've got to know what we have inside, and we've got to know how to get it out. There are many ways to reach an end. Some are actually better than others. Speak confidently and decisively. Very important. Say what you want, not what you don't want. Focus on the solution, not on the problem. I always say, when you enter into a group, if you are a leader and the group comments are spiraling down, you either need to lift it or leave it. If you're not creative enough to lift the conversation, then you need to spark up your leadership skills a little bit. And get gossip out of your vocabulary. Get it out of your style. It's hard to get things straight firsthand, let alone listen to second and third-hand garbled rumors. That's not on the leader's agenda. And finally, whatever we do, we need to express it with a little bit of enthusiasm. I said, I know. He said, well, aren't you going to get out? You're going to miss your movie. I said, well, aren't you going to open our door for us? He laughed. He said, okay, I'll play your silly game. So he got out of the car. He walked around, opened the door, and this lovely couple emerged. We got in line. We got our tickets. We saw the movie. When the movie was over, we walked outside of the theater, and there was the Bentley. He said, your car, sir. Now, I did tip him a little bit before, I have to say that. Anyway, he picked us up. He drove us to McCormick and Schmick, a seafood restaurant on First and Oak. We had a lovely seafood dinner. Picked us up from the restaurant, drove us back to the hotel. The bellman was still standing there shaking his head. He walked away like this. You see, what I didn't know, and what the bellman did not know because he was new on the job, and what none of you know, is that anyone could have had a ride in the Bentley. All they had to do was ask. It was a courtesy car for McCormick and Schmick restaurant. You see, folks, this is a mouth. And if you want anything to happen in life at all, you've got to be willing to open it up just a little bit. Say yes to life. Say yes to leadership. It is extremely important. It says to me that some people are looking for one thing and other people are looking for something else. But I want to guarantee you something. Before you walk out of those portals today, what you are looking for is looking for you. All we need to do is open up our eyes and find the very best path of accomplishment we can to achieve our dreams and desires. Enjoy the process of leadership. Enjoy moving from the present to the future, and enjoy your traveling to leadership above and beyond the crowd. I thank you for your kind attention et je vous remercie de votre aimable attention.